You're watching Around the Bay Sports live on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. And here are your hosts.
I'm Amon.
I'm Drew.
I'm Jack.
And we are
Around.
Duh.
Bay.
Sports. And I'm Jesse Haas. We have a lot to get into today, so I think we should just get started. Our list of topics for today's show include the Giants still struggling. I think we should start there. Now, there was something that we did not get to hear on Friday's show because our friend Jack had to work. So we thought we would let him lead off today with his rant about the Giants' struggles.
Someone clip this too.
Oh my god. Well, first off, huge shout out to my brother for taking over in our last podcast. He did a phenomenal job and he deserves all the credit. Now, for what I got to say about this damn team that's really starting to piss me off. I was looking at what they have been playing recently. Like the last 17 games, they lost 12 of those games. And they've been playing so inconsistent. They're not hitting well. They're not pitching well. It's like their heads are like in the gutter. They just keep struggling after struggle. And I think they pushed back like 8 games ever since like their many losses of their games. And as a Giants fan, it's really pissing me off because they're way better than these teams. They got swept by the Marlins, man. You know the last time they got swept by the Marlins? 2012. It's just unreal. You lost mostly to the Popes team, the White Sox, who are not good at all. And now you're losing to like the Diamondbacks. I mean, yeah, you're currently winning right now 2-0 actually in the top of the second inning. But after all this, the move you make is like give another year extension to Bob Melvin. That's something's got to be done about what's been going on for the Giants. They need to make some moves because the deadline is this month and it's the end of the month, and they got to get their head out of their ass and start playing some damn baseball, man. That's what I got to say.
Yeah, totally hear you on that. Is there a move that they can make that can make them better? Like, is there a star player that might be looking to be traded during the deadline that you could think of, Jack?
Well, I heard of the name Josh Naylor, who's a first baseman. He could maybe help out the Giants with their hitting a little bit. I believe he plays for the Diamondbacks. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel he could be a useful asset, and they need to go out and get pitchers too.
Do you think they would trade within division, though?
I don't think entirely in division because they're trying to compete with guys like the Dodgers and the Padres. So I think they're going to go like more outside to like other random teams that are like completely inconsistent. Like honestly, I would try to like. There's this guy on the Nationals. I don't think the Nationals will give him up, but I believe his name's James Wood. He's an outfielder. I would go for him, if anything. He could really help out the Giants and be a huge impact in the outfield as well.
Do you see the Angels finally moving off of Mike Trout? Maybe this trade deadline, or do you think he's going to be a Giant, or an Angel for the rest of his career?
I mean, it's kind of tough to say because he stayed there his entire career. Just the problem is he gets hurt all the time. But I think he's honestly going to stay as an Angels player for like his entire career. He's going to be one of the very few loyal guys in MLB history.
Mon, is there a player out there you think that the Giants can or should add during the deadline?
I don't have any name in particular. My baseball mind, I haven't really been following that as a kid as much. I don't know a lot of players to know that hopefully maybe another step up for this season. But just going with Jack's rant, that I didn't even know the Marlins last beat was over like almost decade, or actually maybe a little over, almost a decade, almost two even. You think of it, but yeah, 2012 was the last time the Marlins beat the Giants. I mean, they didn't
Swept the
swept,
Giants.
yeah, swept. And then then like the game with the White Sox, like I heard on the radio, something happened in the top of the eighth, and Verlander was pitching, and I seeing how he pitched, I'm like, is he trying to ruin the game? Because every pitch he throws, it's like, are you trying to let him have a home run every inning? Because it's like, can you change your throw a different pitch here and there? Because sometimes the way you throw it, it's just like it just every time I see the White Sox batter go for it, it's like I'm worried that's gonna be a home run, you know. But yeah, I don't have to. Based on your question, I have no one really in particular in the top of my mind. As you know, I'm still slowly in the baseball fan base and being a Giants fan, so I don't know entirely. But just going based on Jack's opinions, and he's been practically a Giants fan all his life since he
But I
moved to
mean,
the
and
Bay.
A's also until they
Oh yeah,
decided to lose.
but just focusing on the Giants itself, just hearing that fact is why I didn't even know. It goes like that was the last time. And the Marlins are right now on a win streak. So they're like, I know it's still too early to tell, but Marlins could be like at least a dark horse to maybe sneak in the wild card. I'm not
I
saying
don't know about. I don't know.
I
About that.
know I'm not trying to
What's the record right now?
I'm not trying to over speculate. I'm not trying to like say they're going to be there, but just hearing that right now they're on an 8-game win streak. Then who knows what? Sure, they might lose 15 in a row the next day, but
They're 38 and 45. So I don't see that. I
you
don't see
don't
a
know. Wait, is this the
in
NL or this is the
this is
NL?
this is
AL.
the National League. In baseball, you can kind of tell if you're under 500 this point in the season, it's hard to come back from.
Well, you never know. They're on an 8-game win streak. It's a boost right now. We'll see how long it lasts, but that's my opinion.
Two things. One, I think that Justin Verlander should have retired after last season. I think he's done. He has nothing left in his arm after 2 Tommy John surgeries. And number two, you talk about the Giants getting swept by the Marlins the last time, 2012. Jack, how did that season end for the Giants in 2012 after getting swept by the Marlins in the regular season?
Giants did wind up winning the World Series. There is that.
Yes.
But still, but I mean, it just doesn't look good normally, but I mean, we'll see how it turns out in the long run. But for now, they're not playing consistent.
Drew, do you have anything to add on this topic?
Oh man, like you said, Vernon. I feel like Vernon shouldn't stop playing. I feel like every time he starts, he does batting goes to him all the time, and I think you gotta make more. You gotta make a trade. I think I heard from Bleacher Report one trade proposal was Luis Urias from the A's, a second baseman that he can replace because the Giants have been using multiple second basemen like Tyler Fitzgerald, Christian Cos, and even Brent Lisey. We heard that guy from last season, but they've been using those 3 guys for us just this season in a row, and just having him can help our definitely our hitting a lot. You know what? He's still young. He's only 28. I mean, he had a pretty good, very good. He had 3 consecutive WAR seasons, which is pretty good. But I feel like he can help really hitting a lot. That's one trade proposal I heard from for the Giants. But I don't know in terms of other trades. I don't know. I feel like I mean we can. I don't know. I don't know who should the Giants trade. I don't know who should be traded or not. But I don't know.
I guess one player to throw, make Yastrzemski, since he's batting 240 as a lead hitter, maybe that could be an upgrade position to someone that Jack was mentioning from the Nationals. Could try to throw that in there.
I feel like Fitzgerald could be traded too, because he's not doing well hitting wise.
I just feel like we're getting we just feel like since Buster Posey now taking the helm of trying to take this team at least back to the postseason for the first time now in a decade, over a decade, and I just feel like we're all like we're hyped because we want to just seeing a former player that's been on those teams, those Giants teams that have won World Series or at least had good contentions to it, and the whole us and the whole Giants fan base just like we're just maybe just a little eager of
Yeah, we still have to remember this is Buster's first season.
this is Buster's first season, but we just feel like hearing of this name, joining management, being like the helm of the organization. So we're just like, okay, this seems promising. Like he could like do something. He did. He made one big splash that pretty much set an earthquake in the MLB. Got every fan, even Boston fans, like shocked and even laughing to realize, like, wait, we just trade our best slugger to the Giants, and the Giants, but they're still doing good, but of course slipping a bit. But yeah, I just feel like maybe we got to set our eagerness to excited for the season, see where it ends. But yeah, I just feel like maybe our eagerness maybe would take it down a few notches, just a little bit, There's still a lot can happen through the years ahead.
I would like the record to show that I did say, I think it was last episode, or even when they got Devers, I still think that they're a few players away or a free
I mean,
agency away from being serious contenders.
we all agree with that. It's just I feel like that trade was almost like it was like a seismic shift in the MLB for a player that's I don't know if he's 20. I don't know what the age is. I'm assuming he's 28.
Yes.
That's the age. And he has so many years left. So it's just maybe it just feels like the way the Giants season was going to that point, and then you see this Devers trade, so we feel like, okay, we're like some people would think win streaks, here we come.
Yeah, it seems like that Devers trade did nothing, it just made him worse.
Well, I just feel like Christian did mention since he explained his like baseball roots. He did baseball in high school, and he just knows that like.
He also played at like Catholic University too.
Yeah, so like it's like chemistry. It's slowly, eventually maybe by All-Star break they'll get like the chemistry will start working. Trades will probably need to happen just so this team can make at least a good push to the postseason, and we'll see what happens to there.
I'm just looking at the standings here, and the Dodgers are 8 games ahead of them in first place and 7.5 on the Padres. I think it's clear right now that the Dodgers are starting to run away with the NL West.
Yeah,
Do you think they will be the champs?
Honestly, I think the Giants.
Are you talking about World Series champs or division?
Division
right?
champs.
Yeah.
Probably,
yeah.
I mean,
I think Giants just need to go for a wild card.
I'm just hoping at least.
Unless like the Dodgers, they go on a major losing streak.
Yeah, which is probably not going to happen.
Which is not going to happen.
Can I just say I hate the Dodgers, but I love that my favorite player is pitching again. Shohei Ohtani. I think he is the. I'm going to say it. He's the best baseball player alive right now. Tell me I'm wrong.
Say that as a Giant. Say that to other Giants fans. See how you get with that.
Well,
I'll be like, okay, who's better than him on the Giants?
You're just saying, like you're
currently,
saying
right?
I'm saying
I don't glaze him like that though.
Unless Babe Ruth was still alive, I would say, okay, Babe Ruth might be better, but Babe Ruth didn't do it for that long.
You're quoting this that Ohtani is the best player or pitcher?
Baseball player.
Baseball player.
Yes.
Number one.
Because he can do both. Better than anybody can.
Because any baseball minds out there, if you're around during those eras, throw out if you have a player in mind that may at least have Ohtani's close to capability or at least maybe a success.
There's nobody that has the success as a pitcher.
Well, I'm just talking to the fans and just see or the people that maybe will throw a name in Sorry.
Yes,
Throw a name in.
the last time he pitched, he was third in Cy Young. The only reason he didn't win that was because he got hurt that season. Hitting wise, he has won four MVPs, three MVPs now. I bet. I apologize for that. I
So
think he's going to win another one just
is
because
he
he
the
was pitching.
Mahomes or is he the Mahomes or the Brady of MLB? Are you saying like I feel like you're talking like if he was the Mahomes of
I'm gonna
MLB?
say Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Because the way you're
Mahomes.
saying it, because
You said
people
Brady. You said Brady. I would
You-
buy a flight ticket right now to California.
you, but
Well,
it just,
Brady doesn't play defense. Also, Brady didn't play
Okay,
defense.
but like Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Please.
because I feel like I just want to make sure the way you're saying it is him being I just want to
I mean,
be the
Like,
Mahomes of it all.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
we get what you're saying.
Yeah, we get what you're
He's
saying.
like one of the only very few guys to ever
Rare.
exist to do pitching and hitting.
You know, probably started
He's a
saying.
Dodger. I can't do that. As a Giants fan, I can't cross that line. I don't give a
See,
damn if he's blazing or not. I can't do it. Especially
Before
if
I
you're
was a Giants fan, and even while I was an A's fan, I have always been a fan of baseball, the sport in general. People doing things that nobody can do, and nobody's done this since Babe Ruth. So until there's another two-way player, he is the greatest baseball player alive.
I feel like let's just say if we
Well,
get a
okay.
two-way player down the line,
Well, hold on. Dare I say this? Was Madison
Okay.
Bumgarner once a two-way player?
Oh, they had a.
Because
they
he
had-
hit home runs too. But I'm just
Yes,
saying,
he
was
did.
he not a two-way player?
Well, hold on.
Until they decided, to do that DH thing to change it to the National
Well,
League now.
back in the day, pitcher had a hit because that was a rule in the league.
Yeah,
Nowadays,
I kind of wish they just didn't change that. I wish they kind of kept it as it is.
now
I did too. I hate the new baseball rules, but we could get into that in a second. But
Yeah.
to get back to your point, a few times they would use Bumgardner as the DH in games that he was pitching, even
Yeah.
for the AL. So yeah, I will give you that.
No,
I
those
think-
are good days too.
Yes, I do think if he would have continued that, I think that yes, he could have been he could have been Shohei before Shohei if they would have let him. But team,
I mean, he was kind of like the early adaptation of like what it could possibly be. Whoever's Pep Boy, shout out to that person.
I'll put that up. Pet Boys does it. Nope,
Boy.
that's not a sponsor. Sorry, do not strike this.
someone clip this, please.
All right.
But yeah,
Okay.
back to the baseball rules in general before we move on to other sports. I hate the extra innings rule. I hate that there is a ghost runner on second. It makes no sense to me.
you like baseball to go for like 7 hours.
I don't care. It is baseball. I'm a baseball purist. I love the
Wait,
game the
Jesse.
way that it was.
Wait,
Yes.
Jesse, do you like when every league has to have a DH instead of having pitchers in, just having DH for?
No, I don't like that. I liked AL. I liked there being a difference between the American League and the National League. With this new system, I'm like, why have different leagues if they're both the same at this point? And everybody plays everybody anyways. Why not just have just one league, the major leagues, and then the best teams make it out of that instead of doing it by
Yeah. The thing about
conference?
this new rule thing is like they do it in the regular season, but yeah, when it comes to playoffs, they remove it entirely. I wish they would just keep it all year round and including playoffs where they just no second baseman. I get that they're trying to get the game done quicker, but I mean it's baseball. This game's been going on for over 100 years. You just got to keep it traditional. I mean, I've been playing baseball since I was like 2. I remember my first A's game was like when I was like 1 or 2 years old. Yeah, 1 or 2 year old. But yeah, I mean, I'm not jumping up and down for how the rules are nowadays.
I hate it because if I'm at the game, I'm like, this is extra innings. This is extra baseball. This is free baseball for me. I didn't pay for this at this point. Why are you shortening this part of the game?
Yeah, that's actually a good thought process.
It'll be funny if everyone's going to like rant on it. It'll be funny. It's like all right, 9 innings. There's going to be ties in baseball.
Oh, that I would never watch again. If
Then
they
no one
tie
will watch
It's
it.
ties, and it's like, what's the point of this?
What's it, soccer
Yes.
now?
I mean, like the NFL does it, and that's a completely different like conversation. But the MLB
And that's
should
rare.
not even have that thought.
It is rare that a game ends in a tie in football.
Yeah,
But also, one last thing about baseball. Can I just say one thing that I think they got right?
All right.
Is that during the All-Star game this season, teams could wear their team's jerseys again. It is not the American League written on it. It's not the National League. It's not
Oh,
like a
really?
weird. Yeah, they went
Oh,
back
I
to
didn't know
their
that.
old format. And like they're
Well,
All-Stars. You don't unless they are wearing their team's jersey, you would have no idea who they are because baseball forgot how to market their good players. But anyways, I think it's time to move on to our second topic. That is the NFL. There was some news yesterday that Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Steelers for Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry. Do you think that makes
It was also a former Dolphin.
yes? Do you think that makes either team better? I'll start with Drew this time.
I haven't looked at the full like breakdown of the trade, but I just when I hear that trade, like that name, Jalen Ramsey, it just I always think. I mean, I always think he's a, you know, I'm not saying he's a terrible defender, but when he was pretty good, cornerback, and but I think I don't know about like benefit of those trades, but like I think that like I'm just praying that it goes well for both teams, but we don't know because we haven't seen those two perform in a new team, so we don't know how what they do. But I'm just hopefully that they can do well. Hopefully this deal is doing well for them. That's all I want.
As a Raider fan, I hope nothing goes well for the Steelers. I'm sorry.
Of course. But if
Yes.
we take it just as a podcast crew,
I don't think this makes either team better. I feel like it cancels each other out because now the Steelers have a good player, but they also had to give something up for that. So I don't see how that makes them better.
yeah, because now I'm thinking, and the other news that's roaming around is T.J. Watt getting possibly traded. So if that happens, then it's like, okay, is the Roger effect already coming through Pittsburgh, infecting the management minds to trade for?
I don't think Rodgers wants to be involved in this time around. I don't think he cares to be around those decisions. That's just based on money. They don't want to pay him because he's been injured, and plus, NFL teams are more stingy with their money now. They don't want to do what the Browns have been doing, giving guys big contracts that they can't live up to.
I feel like they might. I feel like for me, I just feel like they might at least get to the playoffs and then probably run around exit once again, and the curse will linger for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that really doing for them? Losing,
because they just gave up.
They can't really get better. They can't add. They can't get a better draft pick, and until they figure out a stable quarterback thing, I don't see them getting better because I don't see Aaron Rodgers. He's going to retire after the season. Then what are they going to do once he retires? Then it's another Band-Aid at that position.
And then Tomlin, I know he might be coaching another 20 more years, but even for him, he might at least have some thought eventually to be like, all right, I have my fun. I gave Pittsburgh a Super Bowl ring.
Did he have one or two?
That I'm not sure.
I think only one. Yeah, only one. Roethlisberger had two.
I think it could have been two, but that's when the Pat Rodgers won it.
Yes.
In Pittsburgh. No, not in Pittsburgh, but when the Super Bowl happened.
Yeah, there's some smaller news that happened in Miami also. They made a trade with the Giants to acquire Darren Waller. Yeah, I don't think Darren Waller has anything left football-wise.
Apparently he's a rapper.
He should have just kept rapping, honestly.
He's doing a music career.
And when you got the chance, I got a few things to say about the Steelers when you guys have a chance.
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And what was the question you were asking? Like, did they get better or worse?
Does
Yeah.
this make either team better or worse?
Well, I mean, the Dolphins still have a really good offense from your big three and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Tua, but I think this actually makes Pittsburgh a bit worse, honestly, because Aaron Rodgers. Well, first off, for like your additions, they added Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay Jr., Jonnu Smith, and they added DK Metcalf. But they also lost a lot of key other offensive players. And Russell Wilson, who's now in the Giants. You lost Justin Fields, who's now in the Jets. You lost George Pickens, who's now in the Cowboys. And then you lost Minkah Fitzpatrick. Thing is, I like Minkah Fitzpatrick more than I like Jalen Ramsey because Jalen Ramsey's older. And Minkah Fitzpatrick, honestly, I would say he's a little better and he's younger too. But I don't really trust Aaron Rodgers 100%. Jalen Ramsey can get hurt. Darius Slay Jr. is pretty decent. Jonnu Smith he's all right. And then DK Metcalf is really good. But if Aaron Rodgers is what he was in New York and then he takes that to Pittsburgh, this could be the first time that ESPN and everybody else and we are saying that Mike Tomlin for the first time will not get above 500.
I could actually see that happening. I could see it either they just missed the playoffs and they're under 500, or they just missed the playoffs and they're above 500, or again they
Unless
missed the
some
playoffs
game,
and
unless,
under.
unless collusion gets involved, and it's a different story.
I do not want to talk about that in sports. I do not.
And they also
believe-
lost Najee Harris too, who I honestly really liked on that team. I mean, I was hoping he'd go to the Niners, but I mean,
I thought he'd go on the Raiders,
Hey, you
we have
okay there too?
we have a deep
or at least as a backup or something.
Yeah.
We have
Hey,
White.
right there too.
and Raheem
Well-
Mostert. Can I just say I love that we have a two-headed monster in Genty and sorry, this is my Raider brain going just for 2 seconds. I love that we have a two-headed monster in Ashton Genty and then Raheem Mostert as our running backs. Even though Mostert gets hurt a lot, when he is on the field, he is dominant. Jack and Drew, you know this as a Niner fan. Look at what he did in the 2019 NFC champ. Amon, you know this too. On the other side against the
Right.
Packers.
Monster. He was a monster.
That game.
But yes, do you think Darren Waller at his age, do you think he makes his age and what him basically sitting out a year, do you think he makes the Dolphins better by joining their team?
Let's just all say no
No.
and just move on.
I feel like
I mean,
he's
Waller
32. I mean, he's 32. I feel like he won't. I don't know. I don't think he got enough gas in his tank. You know.
I have to
Unless
say that for 2 seasons, Darren Waller was the best tight end in football, up there with Travis
he was,
Kelce and George
once upon a
Kittle.
time, he was like really, really good on the Raiders, and he was like one of the best in the league. Then all of a sudden, he just fell off. He got hurt. Well, he got hurt then.
What happened was they hired Josh McDaniels, worst head coaching decision that franchise has ever made.
Yeah.
He is
what about
this
Tom-
generation's
What about Tom
Lane
Cable?
Kiffin. No, Tom Cable was good. He had them competitive at least at 8-8.
All right. Or Del Rio.
Del Rio got us to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels was the genius, the next Belichick. And what he
Savant.
did was set the Raiders back by 3 to 5 years, and I will never forgive him for that.
But
And he
now,
got rid of my favorite quarterback without an actual solution at the position.
but as I
Jimmy
said,
Garoppolo was the solution. Give me fucking Garoppolo.
and to add more to the chant, now since we lost those years, as I will keep saying, the Rays will probably win a Super Bowl within 3 to 5 years. We're gonna take all that back and win the ring.
It's still hard to believe that Derek Carr retired too. That's still crazy.
Yeah. I think they should have retired a Raider, but I'm just saying. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, he honestly should have.
But yeah, back to Darren Waller. I hope that I don't think he's going to put up the same numbers that he did those 2 years that he was dominant, but I do think he's going to have a good season. If Tua stays healthy. If Tua is hurt, then None of that's going to happen.
If
Is there
Tua gets,
anything else?
if Tua
if-
gets, if Tua
Yeah,
gets another
concussed.
concussion, he should retire.
Yeah, but honestly, I agree with that. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
had too many. He's gonna get brain damage if this keeps happening
If
to
he
him.
doesn't have it already, it could just be happening slower at a slower pace. We don't know what's happening to his
He's been
brain
kind
right
of
now.
quiet. He's been quiet in the off season too. Haven't
Yes.
really heard much about him. Maybe that's a good
I think
thing.
he should be wearing the Guardian cap though this season. It should be mandatory for people that have had more than 2 concussions. You have to wear the Guardian cap to protect you, or else you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
You guys could disagree or agree with me on that, but that's just where I am. If you've had more than 2 concussions, you're wearing that Guardian cap if you want to keep on playing football.
I don't know if
Because
they
he's had
actually-
4 now, right?
4, yeah, I think so, yeah.
4 reported concussions in a 3-year period. That is way too many. Is there anything else football-wise before we move on to the NBA?
Mm,
No, I got nothing.
no.
All right, let's move on to the NBA now. There's a lot that has happened with that. NBA free agency kicked off yesterday, and we've already seen some big transactions happening. We'll start first with the loss of Kevon Looney from the Warriors. Before I get to what anybody else has to say, Kevon Looney helped the Warriors win the NBA title in 2022 with his rebounds. He is a 3-time champion. Did his legs fall off towards the end? I will totally agree with you. And I do think that he robbed the New Orleans Pelicans, but I will not discredit what he did for the Warriors. I think I'll start with Jack. What do you have to say about this?
Man, Kevon Looney was on the Warriors for 10 years. I mean, at first I think it's like first 2 years in his career, he was like hurt or something. I don't really recall. He's did a great service on this team, and he did help the Warriors win the championship because it was key rebounding. He was like a Dennis Rodman type. But when I heard that Kevon Looney signed with another team, I've never had the biggest smile on my face when I saw that news.
Oh, come on.
Kevon Looney, he's a nice guy. He's like the Iron Man of the Warriors. He plays in almost every single game. He rarely gets hurt. He was like the tough guy on the team. But every time I would watch this dude, it would do things to me psychologically. And this dude just made me, like, after the Warriors won the championship, I could not stand the sight of this man. Like, I don't mean to go off on him like this, but I have been my family knows what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. I've been wanting this dude gone for 5 years. Actually, no, like 6 or 7 years. And now that he's finally gone and I don't have to deal with his ass anymore.
Unless we see him in the season.
But by the way, Podziemski better go next because I can't stand him either. But he did a great service on the Warriors, and we thank him for it. And good luck in Pelicans. But at the end, good riddance. And I don't give a damn. Like this. Now I don't have to lose my mind every time I see Kevon Looney sending a screen and he winds up doing a dumbass foul or something like that. So as soon as I heard that, I literally played it was after work. I literally blasted the celebration by Kool and the Gang literally the entire time after work at maximum volume. And I lost my voice in the end, but it's like,
so you didn't.
I don't care what you guys like. You guys say whatever you want, but all I have to say is he did well in the 2022 finals. But after that, I don't know why he was on the team. Honestly, in my honest opinion, was charity case. That's
so even in the draft, like you just hate him when we drafted him, or you just thinking when he got drafted, way he was progressing.
It was like it wasn't like the moment we drafted him. The moment we drafted him, I didn't really know him too well because he didn't.
Yeah,
really
I didn't know him either, but he was on the Levine.
But it was, I think it was around like 2018.
19.
I would say 2018, 2019, and then ever since then, I've been wanting him gone. Then like 2022, I spared him of that, and then all of a sudden after that, it went right back to the hate.
All right.
I think that 2022 playoff series took a lot out of him. Just
It-
look at how
honestly,
many rebounds he had.
honestly, I think it's all of him, like all of him,
Yes.
all of his energy. He's not really
just-
a fast guy. He moves like a tortoise, and he's not
It's
aggressive.
just
That's another thing that
It's-
pissed me off. This dude, I can't say the certain word because there's also women on here, but he just didn't have any courage. He wasn't aggressive. He just played soft. He's got to play. He's got to have some courage. Get aggressive down in the paint. If he was aggressive, I would literally have no issue with him whatsoever.
But
he was
soft.
aggressive during.
He's softer than this pillow behind me.
I mean,
Can
he
I-
was aggressive. Yeah,
Sorry,
go for it,
can I-
Jesse. Go for it.
can I say you were talking about him like a former Warriors that I couldn't stand because of his potential? You're talking about him like he's Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins had 2 weeks of great basketball. The rest of the time, he was meh.
Yeah,
But
Wiggins
his-
pissed me off too. I was glad when he left and went to Miami, but he suffered there, honestly, which is not really the greatest
Yes.
thing. But it's still South Beach, so there's that. There is that part.
But yes. I have more respect for Kevon Looney than I do for Andrew Wiggins because at least he played all this time. Like, look at the 2019 playoffs. They said that he was going to be out for the entire series. I forgot what injury it was, but the next day he got a second opinion and they cleared him to play for the rest of the series. He got his tooth knocked out in that playoffs and still went on to play. So I will never say that he is soft for that.
Yeah, I mean, but
battling
he's
two
just
injuries.
he wouldn't box out or try to fight for a rebound.
All right, Aman or Drew, what do you think about this? About the loss of Kevon Looney?
It sucks that he left, but he's been with us for 10 years. First 2 years he was hurt. Didn't get a lot of playing time. He's behind. JaVale McGee, David West. He's Saza Pachulia. I'm not gonna talk about him again.
He was a great warrior.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about him. Great.
Yeah. But it's honestly, he was a beast during the 22. He brought us championships during especially the 2022 championship run. Got 22 rebounds against Memphis. I just remember the day. I remember he was talking about that game because they were talking about how soft the Warriors was the game before that. So I think he took that personally. That kind of made me happy. And then, I feel like after the 2023 playoffs, it kind of slowed down, kind of his usage compared to Trace Jackson Davis and Quinn Post kind of went down. So, but I kind of knew he was going to get gone. I thought he was going to be gone after last year, but I don't know. He did great things for us. So hopefully he does. Hopefully he can do that with New Orleans for Jordan Poole, but hopefully he does well. That's all I'm saying.
Aman, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, Looney. He will be missed. As just to all the Warriors fan bases, just to the Warrior fans in general, including Jack. He,
I mean, I'll miss not getting pissed off at him. That's the thing I will miss.
but just hearing your take, just the way you're talking about him, which is your opinion. Everyone has their own, but yeah, he will be missed. He helped us win those titles. He was part of that team. He was a good center overall, in my opinion. Not going all time, all that, but I'm just saying, like, when he was on that team during those times, my dad and I we liked him as the way he played, and he will be missed. I hope he does well in his career along with the Pelicans and so on. Maybe let's maybe see he gets another ring down the line maybe with New Orleans, but of course when the years go.
When the Western
New
Conference
Orleans winning
stack,
the championship. I
when the
just can't
Western
see that.
Conference stack as possible, or tough as possible.
But just overall, Looney, good luck to you. You'll be missed. Hopefully, we see you in Chasing.
Now, before we move on to other NBA topics outside of the Warriors, is there anything else free agency wise that you guys think is important that the Warriors could or should do during this time?
No, I got nothing. All I know is the
Hey.
Warriors. Like, all I gotta say is the Warriors should do something. Like, I get that Steph Curry has like majority of like.
Unless you want to trade Curry for picks or
Like,
some
I
very
get
young
First-
superstar.
Don't ever say we would trade Steph Curry. If we traded Steph Curry, like
You're trading the
world-
Warriors at that
the
point.
world really has gone to shit if that would have happened. But the Warriors got to do something. Like, I get they're trying to go for Al Horford. I think they should go for DeAndre Ayton personally, because he's an actual good big man and he's younger and he's 7 foot and he's like the key guy you're looking for to solidify that starting lineup with Steph, Jimmy. Who would be our small? Well, I mean, I guess Podzemski, that asshole, Draymond, and DeAndre Ayton, and that would be a good offensive lineup. And well, I mean, besides Podzemski, but yeah.
Ooh,
Well, when I was saying about the Curry thing, I'm just joking, but I just feel like since you said that, I just feel like when
I
you
feel like
would be better.
it's hard for the Warriors to do anything because 3 players make up 81% of their entire cap space. And Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. That's not a lot to work with outside of that. When 3 guys make up 81% of the cap, the tax.
Well, I mean, I get that, but they should still at least do something. Doing something is better than doing nothing.
Yes, I think
There's
Luke,
there's actually only
almost.
2 teams across the entire NBA that haven't done anything. They're the Warriors and the Pacers. Only 2 teams to do nothing in free agency.
I feel like both teams are in cap hell, as teams say. They literally can't do anything, so they have to take like a veteran minimum. That's all they can offer players right now. That's how we got DeMarcus Cousins when he joined the Warriors on a veteran minimum contract.
But of course, for Kuminga, the news for the Warriors of all the fans, it's Kuminga. So what's the story? You're gonna sign him, or there's the room? I saw some news spreading about possibly signing trade in Miami for some reason. Unless we're getting Bam Adebayo, but I don't think how that's going to work out. Or Tyler Hero, maybe. Then he could replace then Pod's going to be part of the trade. And get like Tyler Hero. But
the thing is, though, for the Warriors, they don't have too many guys that are locked in right now.
But yeah, center's key.
That's not good. Like, Steph Curry's locked in, Jimmy's locked in, Draymond, Buddy Hield, Moody, Podzemski, Trace Jackson Davis, Guy Santos, and Post. Those are the only guys that are actually locked in for next year. So either all those other guys are just going to be let go or traded, or the Warriors are just going to be cleaning house.
They already lost
the money.
Pat
I would
Spencer.
personally give away Moody. He's making way too much money on the Warriors. I would personally get rid of him.
I have to say, I don't like that the second that they're playing bad, Steve Kerr benches him and
G.
No, he got a lot of playing time. I don't think that he should have gotten playoff minutes, but that's another topic. I don't think he earned that yet over Kuminga and Moody. Whenever they mess up, you don't see them for like 10 games. And how can you develop a player like that? I love Steve Kerr. I think he's a great coach, but I don't think he is good at developing players. The only player that he developed was Kevon Mooney. That's the only player that he's seemed to be able to develop. And he's trying to do that with Brandon Podziemski. It seems like letting him play through his struggles. And I think that's a mistake.
I feel like Podziemski also, what I was saying about Kevon, I think Podziemski is also a charity case. I really don't know why he's on this team because all he does is just chuck the ball in the air, and most of the time he misses, and he just turns the ball over and plays defense terribly.
So he's like Jordan Poole when he was with the Warriors.
Yeah, but Jordan Poole, the only difference about Jordan Poole is he was doing very well in DC. Honestly, I think the Warriors should have never done that trade. We're going to go this far. the Warriors should have traded Draymond Green instead of Jordan Poole. If the Warriors had traded Draymond Green, they would not be as good on defense, but their offense would be a hell of a lot better.
I'll agree with you there.
Because Draymond, like, yeah, he's a great defensive player, but he is a horrible, inconsistent offensive player. So, and also it would just it's more logical to cut the guy who started the fight than the guy who got his
But
ass.
not only that, even Curry, even when in his time with Golden State, Curry was even mad at him during the game. I saw a video on social media, and someone there was a video of Curry even yelling at Poole on during the game. So
I remember
I
that
don't-
also.
So
Yeah,
that
that
might
was-
have leaded it. That might have really leaded it into that trade.
Yeah, I mean, but like Draymond seems to let the team more down in certain situations, like when he's a hothead and gets ejected in a key situation, or if like when Draymond did that stupid thing where he tried to punch LeBron in the McNuggets, and
That was a stupid technical. I've looked at that
he got
play
like
over the
suspended.
years.
If he didn't get suspended after that game, maybe the Warriors wouldn't have blown that 3-1 lead.
Maybe we wouldn't get Kevin Durant.
No, I
Yeah,
still think
man, that's honestly one of the
What
biggest
ifs?
what ifs in Warriors history.
Can I say though that technical against LeBron
Draymond.
or that Draymond got on LeBron James, I watched that back over the years. I'm like, that is a no call. He did nothing. That didn't affect anything of that play. LeBron wasn't even hurled over. LeBron was gifted an NBA championship, I feel like. Because the league was like, oh, we want this to go 7. We should, even though we see that Steph Curry is on his last leg for that series. I just feel like, yes, Draymond Green has done some bad things, but I do not blame him. I blame the league for extending that to 7 games. I do think there was collusion there to get that to 7 games, because I do think the Warriors would have won that in 5.
Yeah.
And
But now we should talk about what else is
Oh.
going on around the league.
Jesse Keepin, the comment from Steve, he talks about should we make merch.
Oh, yes. There's currently no merch right now. I'm trying to look into it though. Trying to
Wouldn't be
get
a bad idea.
hats.
We should make merch.
just-
Yeah.
We're gonna start off with hats
Yes.
and shirts. Start off with that so far.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Even if we make merch, I don't know what color would
And
be.
As we
Yes.
go down the line, we can do from Jesse's rantics, Jack's rantics, Drew and I. this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can discuss
Or just
them.
our silly faces when we get angry.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move to the next topic of NBA news. That is that Cam Johnson was traded to the Nuggets for Cam Porter, and he went to the Nets. I don't know much about these players, to be honest. So, do you think that makes either team better? Again, I'll ask the same thing that I asked about the Ramsey and Fitzpatrick trade. I'll start with you, Jack.
Well, Cam Johnson, it's kind of similar to Michael Porter Jr. I don't know what the age difference is between those two, though. But I've known Michael Porter Jr. to be a better player than Cam Johnson is. So, but then again, the Michael Porter was given to the Nets. But I think this will improve the Nets a little bit. We'll see what Cam Johnson brings to the table, and I mean they pretty much tossed a random pick to them, 2032. Like, come on, man, like 2032. Like, you don't know who's going to be what. You don't even know like what kind of conditions certain players will be in during time. But
Probably try and get the next LeBron.
yeah, but
I was supposed to be
honestly, there's
Zion.
not really an immediate prediction right now, but I think this benefits the Nets.
What would you say, Aman?
Yeah, I'll probably have to agree with Jack. I think this benefits the Nets because I feel like the Nuggets did this move because not only that, they actually traded for Valanciunas. So I wonder they're trying to focus on getting those rebounds and maybe a little on the defensive side than more of their offense. Because Jokic, he's an all-around player. So and then with Jamal Murray and any other shooters of the roster. But yeah, I feel like it's because I think the Nets, they're still in that rebuild. They had 5 picks in the first round, most that we've seen, and so they're just they want to focus more on development. And Johnson, he's a good player. I saw him when he was in Milwaukee, beating the Bucks, which was sad to see, but he's a good player. And yeah, I feel like for the Nets, this is a good move. Just focus on more on the development aspect and maybe give Cam Johnson at least some playoff experience as well.
Dre, what do you think of this move?
I agree with both of them. It definitely made the Nets a little bit better. We don't know what they're gonna do for that team. Denver has been making moves this free agency. They got, like Amon said, they got Valanciunas. They also signed Bruce Brown. I can't remember who else they also signed, but I think Denver's trying to be like a win now type of situation. So, but Brooklyn, they're still rebuilding. Obviously they have a new head coach, Jordy Fernandez. He's in his second year, so give him some time to develop these people. That Nets team got crap on draft night, but it did make them a little bit better for sure.
All right. I think we can move on to the next topic. This has a lot of Bay Area ties to it. Dame time is over in Milwaukee for the Bucks. Damian Lillard has been waived, so they can add another player. Aman, would you like to break down the
Yeah,
details of
and
this?
that player was Miles Turner. Hey, Indiana, thank you. I don't know what we were doing. He figured he just went to the finals, helped Halliburton out, and you guys didn't want to go over the threshold? Golden State, we've been in threshold for who knows how many years now. We've been signing our players to keep the core, and now with Turner gone, is there a core? Like now, Halliburton might have to be like Curry or like LeBron and carry the team to get to the postseason. Anyway,
Halliburton is also going to be out next season.
he's out of the season. But I'm just saying, like when he gets back, I don't know how he feels right now because those two were like brothers, and this is with their duo. Those duos helping Indiana out, getting to the NBA Finals is like the first time ever, and yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, but for as a Bucks fan, when I saw this news heading to work, I was like, oh my gosh, we got Miles Turner. But then Jesse mentioned, oh, we got rid of Lillard, and I'm like, of course. When we got Lillard, who did we give up? Jrue Holiday. He was on the 2017 team, and it's like, of course we have to sacrifice. Yes, Lillard got hurt, but when I first thought, I was like, oh my gosh, Turner, Lillard, and Giannis, we might actually get out of the first round. No, we had to sacrifice one soul to at least have at least one big spot. I know Giannis carries most of the money, so I get the reason. And not only that, this is like the Raiders. If I want to say add a little more about the Raiders, we had to still pay Lillard $23 million for 5 years. So Lillard could be like Russell Wilson going to the Giants for like a penny, and since he's already going to get paid by the other team, but like for Lillard, this team now has to pay Lillard, while Lillard will see where he goes, and who would sign? Would it be the Warriors? Who knows? We'll keep our ears and eyes peeled. But yeah, I mean, for the organization, good move. I was a bit shocked, but then it's sad for Lillard because I felt like if Lillard didn't get hurt, that team, I finally at least get out of the first round. We'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, that's my take. And then other news for Milwaukee, they did sign Bobby. In case you want to know, that's what Milwaukee chants when he's on the floor. They love the guy. And to a 3-year deal. But yeah, that's my take. I'll let you guys take the floor. But yeah, just for Indiana, thank you. And I don't know what was like, what are you doing?
They don't want to go over the second apron because then that is a tax that is unpayable at that point. They're taxed almost
And then
billion, $2
one more
billion.
thing to add.
Yes.
As for Giannis, this we're not sure this is going to like convince him because he convinced Lillard to join. He assumed maybe be with Lillard, but now with this Lillard gone, he's in. I'm not sure. He's 50-50. Will he stay? Be with
I actually
Turner
got something to say about that.
What
Yes.
goes on? But yeah, go on, Jeff.
So first off, for this news, you're gonna give one of your biggest rivals a very key player that was just in the finals.
Yeah, like
that
come
makes
on.
no sense to me. Like these two teams, the Bucks and the Pacers, they're both in the Central Division, and they do not like each other. Like
It's
I don't
almost
think- I
like
don't think
Knicks
it's a long
Pacers
fight. But like
type rival.
yeah, getting rid of Damian Lillard, I mean, I kind of understand because he did tear an Achilles, so he's going to be out for most, if not all, of the 25-26 season. So Damian Lillard will have a lot of time to recover. So whoever signs him is not going to get him for at least a year. You know what I mean?
I think he just
The
takes the year
Pacers-
off before we get
The
to
Pacers basically gave away like their one of the key players, and they just did nothing about it. And
They couldn't even been their
Pacers-
best center in their organization.
Pacers are going to go from being one of the most impressive teams to being one of the most like mid teams. This is going to be kind of a hot take. I think the Pacers might make the play-in next year with the team that they have because Halliburton's out and now Turner's gone. Who else you got left? You got Naismith short. You got
Mothern.
Mothern. He's going to be a key player. He's going to have to be a key player.
We know McConnell. He's going to have to get starter minutes at this point.
McConnell's going to be a starter guaranteed, but
Beckham.
I don't know what the Pacers are doing, but according to reports online and what he tweeted about 12 hours ago, he's confused and he is not happy about it. So
This is Giannis.
the question, this is Giannis. So the question is, will this make Giannis want to stay or leave?
Okay.
Because his key guy, his buddy, was supposed to be Damian Lillard, and now that Damian Lillard's gone, you got Miles Turner, and I mean, you don't really know him that well. Well, maybe. So, what is this going to be the kind of chemistry? And is he going to trade, or is he just going to stick with the team until his contract's up?
Can I just say that the Indiana Pacers were willing to re-sign Miles Turner, but due to financial constraints, that's probably the second apron that everybody's afraid of. And also Tyrese Halliburton's injury, they didn't see it as worth wanting to re-sign him because it's like our star player is hurt for the entire season. Why are we going to go over the second apron of the luxury tax and pay all this money for a losing product? So I could kind of see it from the Pacers side. They had no idea he was going to sign with the Pelicans at the time. But yeah, the Giannis thing is interesting. I don't know where he's going to lie on this. Drew.
Yeah, I know. Just the fact that they laid up. I don't know. I get. He tore his ruptured Achilles. He's out for all next season. But it's like everyone said, we don't know what Jan's gonna do. Like he's gonna be committed to this team or request a trade. But he's confused, as we all know. We saw his tweet, and I don't know. He just can't process this thing as of right now. Like this is probably taking a long time for him to process all of this going on. And like, it's just not just that; it's all the new players the Bucks been getting recently. So like, we don't know how he's gonna process all of that. They re-signed Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent, Torian Prince, and also signed Gary Harris, and also losing Brook Lopez. He also lost Brook Lopez, a teammate. So it's just that like he just can't process all this at one moment. It's gonna take him a long time to process all of this right now. Like we don't know.
I'm sorry. They shouldn't be worried about Giannis's feelings. They got him a championship. He shouldn't be. They shouldn't be running their entire team on, oh, what's going to make Giannis happy. If they do that, they should just trade him already because they're not going to win with that. I love Giannis as a player, but I don't like the notion of players dictating what teams do. Oh, is this going to make him mad? I hated when Aaron Rodgers did that. I hate that LeBron always gets his way no matter what team he's on. He can get any coach fired. Have you ever seen Steph Curry do that? How
No.
about deals that weren't
Hmm.
made or that were made?
I mean, like Giannis, he's just. I guess it's might be his loyal, like a loyalist or being loyalty. So he just he just likes the brotherhood bond, and I guess
Like that.
losing.
He's loyal to the Bucks, though. He shouldn't be loyal to players. He should be loyal to the Bucks. The Bucks are the team that got him the pieces that he needed to win a championship. So he got what he wanted. He's an MVP, Finals MVP. He won the championship. I don't like that notion. He should just. It should either be trade me or because they're not going to give him ownership of the team. They're just not while he's playing. I don't get why. I'm tired of the player entitlement era where the second things go wrong, they want to be traded out of their contract. They don't want to honor their contract. That's all I have to say about that. Is there anything else before we move on to the final big news of the day, actually?
Yeah, we'll just keep our eyes open and ears open for a Giannis trade, and we'll just see how I will react of being a Bucks fan.
Hmm.
Yes. All right. But for the last piece of news, we got Dave Gilgeous-Alexander signing a supermax contract to remain with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He signed a 4-year, $285 million extension. So that means he'll be with the team for the very long term. How do you think this? Do you think they go back to back with this signing?
I think we touched on this topic thing like dynasty, but as I say, this NBA is competitive. The teams that want to compete, they will eventually will get a new championship per year. Who knows? Like Minnesota, for example. Not saying it's going to happen, but they've been in the Western Conference Finals now 2 years in a row. So sooner or later, they're going to finally break that threshold and compete for a title. But that's just the Timberwolves. But just in general, teams that want to compete, you guys can win championships. Like the whole back-to-back stuff, I think that's just dying out. People might win 3 last 4, 2 the last 5. But with the question, I don't see it happening. He's a great player, grants with the money, he earns every penny, but just the way this NBA is, this new age, it's like everyone wants the Larry O'Brien trophy to add to their franchise.
Jack, what do you think about this?
Well, can't really go wrong with this. I mean, every single amount of money that of this supermax extension, he deserves every penny of it. He got MVP. He's going to be signing with OKC through 2030, 31 season. I don't think they're going to go back to back because of this. I mean, it's going to help him like try to perform better as much as possible in spite of him winning MVP. But he deserves it. And I just believe he's going to do well in OKC, but they're not going to go back to back because teams are going to change and adapt, like I've mentioned before in the past. But this is good for him, and he deserves it.
Drew, any final thoughts before we close out of today's show on this deal or any other deal that has happened?
I mean, he deserves all the extensions. This past season he had a hell of a season. He won MVP, he won Finals MVP, he won a championship, won Western Conference MVP. You can't do that all in one season. It's rare that you see people, players like that, do that in the same season. It's kind of rare. But yeah, he deserves it. In terms of back to back, I don't think he's gonna go back to back. But it's probably gonna move in to try to get more accolades in his bag. Like winning more at least one more MVP or more. But I don't think back to back is. I don't think they're gonna win back to back. I feel like people are gonna be more competitive, like Mon said, more competitive, especially in the West being competitive as possible. We can see new teams trying to beat the Thunder, but I feel like Thunder are like the team to be attacked for next season because the defending champs. But it's gonna be hard for the GM to either extend Jalen Williams for St. Clair or Chet because they're both going to be free agency after next year. So we don't know if they're gonna. But Shea deserves all the money. But I don't think the back to back's gonna be happening. But there's been other really big like free agency like Jeremy Jackson, for example, $240 million for 5 years. But he has a turf toe, so that's like another thing that they've been asking was does he deserve the money? But Shea, he deserves it for sure. But how many people get paid?
All right, I think that's it. Sports wise, a little housekeeping news. There will be no Friday show. We are changing our schedule next week until football season starts. We'll be going live on Mondays and Wednesdays starting next week. Again, there is no Friday show. We will let you all know on social media on Instagram. And yeah, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
One last
Thank
thing.
you. Oh, one last thing.
Giants are down 6-2. Come on.
They scored at home.
It's 6-2.
God,
Giants.
you see what this team does to us. They're playing.
Gosh, like the A's.
They really better get their shit together in the second half of the season because the first half's almost over. Thank God.
All right, folks, that's our show. We will see you
Yeah, but,
next time on
One
Around.
more thing.
Okay, one more thing.
Want to give one more shout out to my brother. Thanks for taking over last week. Shout out to my mom and dad. Shout out to my house sitter Monica who's watching. Hope Jackson and Mariah are doing well. And I'll be heading to California near the end of the month, so I'll see all of you and all of you guys then too.
Oh yeah, so we'll see if we could do it like an actual live show.
Yeah.
All four of us together in the same room. We are going to try to make that happen.
Mhm.
But until then, we will see you next time on Around the Bay Sports.
Also,
Thank you for
follow us on
watching.
Instagram. Follow us on Instagram.
And please like and subscribe here. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Thank you. Bye. Deuces.